What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is officially time. We are here for bracketology season. We are back. I am so happy to be back. These are my favorite videos, honestly. You know, I love the NFL, I love the NBA, college football. These are my favorite videos to make, the college basketball bracketology predictions. I love it. So, yeah, let's get into it. We're in prime channel here for my channel right now in the month of November. You got a lot of stuff going on, football, basketball as well, both college and NBA. So that's great. But yeah, let's dive into my bracketology here. So this was on the 24th when Lombardi updated this. So a little bit ago, it's November 6th of the time of this recording. Also, games are going on at the time of this recording as well, as this is the opening day. But yeah, so I assume things haven't changed as much, though, right now. So you look at the top overall seed, it is the Kansas Jayhawks right there. First team out, we have the West Virginia Mountaineers, and then the last team in, the Clemson Tigers, after struggling last season at the end part for the Clemson Tigers. They look like they're on in the mix right now. All right, so on the bubble right now, last four buys, Indiana losing Trace Jackson Davis is going to be unfortunate for that program. As you see, this team going to be taking a step back. And then we have Ohio State, St. John's, also teams taking a step back last season. Had a good year, kind of wounded up the year being weird with all the coaching problems and stuff. But Iowa State there, just barely making it to the last four buys. Last for him, we do have Northwestern, Xavier. Xavier also looking like they're taking a massive step back this season. New Mexico last season, this team started like undefeated last year, kind of unfortunately as they got to conference play, just kind of fell off. But I do think that's a great program there out of the Mountain West. And then the Clemson Tigers, as we mentioned earlier. First for out, we have West Virginia, Texas Tech. Also a big storyline, the old West Virginia coach, as we see right there. He is new there. I forgot his name, but a really great coach for West Virginia, unfortunately, is out. But then Texas Tech, aside from last season, this is a very good program. Almost won a national championship a few years ago, the year before the COVID year, I believe. So really good for Texas Tech. They're a good program. Good to see them getting back into the mix after a rough year last season. Providence also a really good program there in the first four out. And then Boise State, another great program. These are a lot of good programs here in the mix. The next four out, we have BYU, my BYU Cougars, joining the Big 12 this season. Let's see what we can do. Michigan, frustrating year last year. We'll see if they can bounce back. And then we got Stanford and Rutgers. So let's take a look at this bracket. I'm not going to be going through the changes as I normally do. So let's just take a look at kind of the one seed, some standouts from this bracket here. And then in the South, Kansas, Bill Self squad is the number one seed. Not surprised there. Look at Florida Atlantic taking Elite this season as the 4 seed after obviously the insane run last year. San Diego State also had an insane run to the Final Four, or to the national championship, beat Florida Atlantic right there. You got Gonzaga as the 3 seed, 2 seeded Tennessee, and also big Kentucky at the 5 seed. In the Midwest, we have Purdue as the 1 seed. USC adding Bronny James to the mix. We'll see how they do this season. You got Marquette as a 3 seed, really good program there. Not a whole lot of other standouts here. And then Houston, really good team out of the 2 seed last season, had a phenomenal season. Just wasn't able to finish things out, but they're in the Big 12 now as well. So they're going to be looking for another really good year. And it's really exciting to see Houston join the Big 12, man. That conference is so dominant right now. I am worried for my BYU Cougars in that conference. All right, and then the East, Duke Blue Devils taking a step this season. This team is it's Duke. They're going to be a very good team year in and year out. This year, they're back to being one of the best. I want to shout out Maryland. Maryland's a really good program as an 8 seed there. They're going to be tough to stop. Baylor's a good team as a 5 seed. Texas A&M, the 4 seed. They had a really good year last season. Really was a very hot team to finish out the year. You got Texas as a 3 seed there. Another really good program. And then UConn has a 2 seed, the national champions last year. They lost some pieces, but it's still UConn. They're a very good team. In the West, we have Michigan State as the number 1 seed. Right there. And then North Carolina, big blue there, dropping down to the 5 seed. That they're very, obviously we know what North Carolina is. I believe they had they didn't do great last season, did they? Yeah, I think so. Missed out on March Madness, but I think I might be mistaken on that, honestly. But yeah, I don't remember filling them out of my bracket. That's just a weird thing I don't remember right now. But then Arkansas as the number 4 seed. Very good Arkansas team as well there. Villanova, another big blue there, as a 6 seed. Arizona, my champion the past 2 years when they were a 1 seed a couple years ago, lost in the Sweet 16. And then last year, most embarrassing as a 2 seed, loss in the first round. So, am I going to be riding and dying with Arizona? We'll see what happens. And then Creighton, the 2 seed. That's a very good program there. Okay, so let's get into these predictions here. Now, starting out with the first 4. Let's go over here. Northwestern versus New Mexico. 2 very solid programs, but I am going to go with Northwestern in that game. I do think they're slightly better. Sacred Heart against Howard. I am going to go with Howard in that game. Xavier Clemson. I'm going to go with Clemson. And then Texas Southern McNeese. I am going to go with Texas Southern. That Texas Southern team seems to always be in the March Madness there out of their conference. So, all right, so there's the first 4. Let's go to the round of 64, starting out with Kansas versus Morehead State. Going to go with Kansas in that game. Wisconsin, Colorado. Colorado, an upcoming team, it looks like here. I'm going to go with Wisconsin, but I'm not too confident on either of those teams. Going to go with Kentucky over Yale. Yale, a good program, but I don't think it's going to happen there. Florida Atlantic, I do think beats Furman. San Diego State, Iowa State. San Diego State showed why they're such a good program last season. I think they'll win that one. Gonzaga, I think, could beat Vermont. Vermont, another really good program as a 14 seed. This is really good upsets here unfortunately, they played very good top teams here, but a lot of good teams, a lot of good programs. I'm going to go with a 10-seed upset here over UCLA. I just trust the program of Indiana. UCLA, obviously, a really good program as well. That one could go either way, but I'm an Indiana believer. I think they can bounce back in a big way this season, even without Trace Jackson Davis. And then Tennessee, I do think will beat Wright State in that one. All right, then down here, we got Michigan State, Tom Izzo squad. Taking on Iona. Michigan State will win that one. I'm going to go Kansas State, a really good team from last year as a 9 seed beating Mississippi State. North Carolina versus Drake. I'm going to go with a 12-seeded upset. Drake over North Carolina. I know North Carolina, top team, but I don't think this team's ready to compete all the fully way. Drake is a very good team. I really like that Drake team. I'm going to go with Drake to pull off the upset. Arkansas, Charleston. Charleston was a very solid program last year as well. I believe they were nearly undefeated to finish off the season. I'm going to go with Arkansas, though, in that one. Villanova, Dayton. Villanova missing the March Madness last year. Interesting game. I am going to go with Villanova, I think, though, as a 6 seed to win that one. Arizona, I do think, beats Colgate. Gets past the first round this season. TCU, I do think, will beat Florida. And then Creighton, I think, will beat Weber State. All right, and then down over here, Purdue versus Howard. Give me Purdue in that one. Purdue obviously losing to Fairleigh Dickinson last season for Zach Edey's squad. I don't think that's going to happen 2 years in a row, though, as prone to an upset as Purdue might be. But give me Purdue with Zach Edey. Memphis, I do think, beats Virginia. 2 good teams there, though. USC, I think, will beat Grand Canyon. Alabama versus UC Irvine. I'm going to go with Alabama, but I was debating maybe pulling off a crazy upset. Not quite, though. Miami, really good team from last season. I don't think they lose to Northwestern. Give me Miami. Marquette's going to beat James Madison. St. John's versus St. Mary's. Give me St. John's as another 10 seed upset there. I like that St. John's team. And then Houston, I think, beats South Dakota State. So not a ton of upsets that I see so far. I still need to gather some information on some of these other teams here. But Duke, I think, beats Texas Southern. Maryland, I think, will beat Oregon. Baylor versus Liberty. Baylor lost. I'm actually going to go with Liberty. Let's go with the 12-seeded Liberty, second 12-seed upset of this tournament so far. I really like that Liberty program, and Baylor, I think, is a team that's trending downwards right now. So give me Liberty. Texas A&M, I do think, beats Akron. Illinois versus Mississippi State. Give me Illinois in that one. Texas will beat Eastern Kentucky. Auburn, I think, beats Ohio State. And then UConn, I think, will beat UNC Asheville. Where do we have that Clemson game? Yeah. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm like, I knew Clemson. Okay, I must have not changed that there. That's what happened, I think. Okay, yeah, I think Clemson goes there. My bad, guys. Okay. All right, over here. So, second round time. Kansas I'm still going to go with Illinois over Clemson. We did that. Okay, well, I don't remember who was there, so just bear with me and say Clemson was there. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right, Kansas, Wisconsin. Give me Kansas in that one. Really good matchup, Kentucky, Florida Atlantic. I don't think Florida Atlantic has as good of a run this season, especially playing a 5-seeded in Kentucky. I'm going to go with the Wildcats in that one. Gonzaga, San Diego State, 3-seed, 6-seed. Again, San Diego State, really good run last year, but I think I'm going to go with Gonzaga in that game. And then I think Tennessee will beat Indiana. So we got a lot of good programs there. Kansas, Kentucky's, Gonzaga, Tennessee. Those are top coaches in college basketball right there going at it in the Sweet 16. Michigan State, Kansas State. I kind of wanted to go with a 9-seeded Kansas State upset there. I really like that team, but I just don't see it happening. Give me Michigan State. Arkansas, Drake. I'm going to go with the 12-seeded Drake Bulldogs to make a crazy run to the Sweet 16. Why the frick not? Not the biggest believer in Arkansas. Give me Drake. Villanova, Arizona. I'm going to go with the Wildcats against the Wildcats. Arizona wins that one. And then Creighton, TCU. Give me Creighton in that one. Okay, Purdue, Memphis. Going to go with the Boilermakers there. This was going to be a big matchup between these two I actually believe in my March Madness bracket, I had Purdue, Memphis, and Memphis moving on. This year, I'll go with Purdue. USC, Alabama, 4-seeded, 5-seeded game. Interesting game here. I'm going to, I think, go with USC, though, as a 5-seed winning that one. So no 4-seeded seeds so far moving on to the Sweet 16. Miami, Marquette, 3-seed, 6-seed. Give me Marquette as a 3-seed there. And then Houston, I think, can beat St. John's. All right, Duke, Maryland. Really like Maryland as a program, but I am going to go with Duke. Texas A&M, I do think will beat Liberty to snap that streak. Texas A&M goes on to the Sweet 16. Texas, I think, will beat Illinois, and then UConn, I think, will beat Auburn. So 1 through 4 in the Sweet 16 in that region. Okay, for a spot in the final or the Elite Eight, Kansas, Kentucky. Give me the Jayhawks in this one over Kentucky. Then Tennessee, I think, can beat Gonzaga for a 1-seeded, 2-seeded matchup in the Elite Eight. Michigan State versus Drake. I think Drake's Cinderella story is going to come to an end there against the Bulldogs of Drake. Give me Michigan State. Arizona versus Creighton. I am going to go with Arizona. Really like both those programs, though. I am rolling with Arizona, I guess, again here to make it to the Elite Eight this season. We'll see if that pays off. Obviously, it's going to be a while, but we'll see. Purdue USC. I don't think that Purdue makes it to the Elite Eight. You know, you have the big man, Zach Edey. He's dominant. Don't get me wrong, but, you know, can he learn from last year? Don't get me wrong. He can. I really like his character, but it's just proven that big men kind of struggle in the March Madness. We saw it last year with Fairleigh Dickinson. It's just proven it's tough to win like that. You got to have a really good guard. They did get a lot of transfers for guards, but we'll see if that's enough. All right, Marquette, Houston, 3-seeded versus the 2-seed. I'm going to go with Houston in that one. So never mind, Arizona won. Okay, Duke, Texas A&M. I'm going to go with Duke, but Texas A&M is a really good program that I think can move on far in a bracket. Texas, UConn, give me the Connecticut Huskies there for 2 1-2s. That normally doesn't happen in my bracketologies, but it's going to happen here. All right, Kansas versus Tennessee. I do think the Jayhawks move on to the Final Four there. Michigan State, Arizona. Give me Izzo's Spartans to go to the Final Four. USC, Houston. Let's go with the 5-seeded USC. Bronny James bringing his talents. This is a good USC program. Give me the Trojans to the Final Four there. And then Duke, UConn. I don't think the Huskies are going to repeat in my predictions this season. Give me the Blue Devils. So 3 1-seeds and a 5-seed in the Final Four here. We got Kansas State. We have Michigan State. I'm going to go with Tom Izzo and Michigan State in the national championship game to face the Blue Devils of Duke. Are going to end USC's incredible run. Give me Duke. So in the national championship game, we have Michigan State. We have Duke, 2 1-seeds battling it out. 2 great programs. I was going to say 2 great historic coaches, but obviously Coach K is out of Duke. Still a really good coach that Duke's got over there, though. But I am going to go with the experience of Tom Izzo to win the national championship. Michigan State is going to be crowned as my first 2023/2024 Bracketology Predictions champion. So, anyway, guys, I am so happy to be back. Once we get to next one, we will go with a full rundown of the movement in Lundardi's bracket. But anyway, guys, thank you all for watching. Peace out.